The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the QATV staff or board of directors. QATV, in compliance with FCC regulations, is prohibited from exercising control over the content of independent, member-produced public access programming.
Hi friends, welcome once again. We have a wonderful guest today on our show, June Scott. She has an interesting story and it's also very touching. I thought we will share this with you. Hope you like it. It is an eye-opener.
It really is an eye-opener because she's going to tell us what happened with her and how she started. And I think we take, we really don't pay attention when the kids are growing up. So this is an eye-opener, and it really falls under women's issues because as a mother, both of us being mothers, we are bringing up women's issues. It's important to know like this can happen to anyone, and it has happened, and this is what she's done, and it's amazing. Like little kids. We think, oh, they can't listen. Oh, she's not listening. This is kind of, she's just not listening to us. But it can happen, and that's what her thing was. Like, she really thought the little kid, when she said she couldn't see properly, when she went to the GP, her own GP, they didn't realize it was such a big problem, and the girl is legally blind.
To me, it was more interesting that, I do understand in this country, in our new country, in the West, there's always a solution, there's always courage, there's always confidence. Whereas my heart goes out to South Asia, Middle East, the Far East, Africa, where disability means it's a sign of being invisible. It's a sign of being a baggage in life. And nobody wants to take care of you.
No, nobody does.
So when a child is born with disability, it's really an issue. So what I really thought when bringing June Scott to the show was, yes, she did face with this adversity, but she found a solution. She, as a mother, had to have a lot of courage to fight the society first, and then find a solution not only for her child, but every other child in this global universe, as well as for young youth, as well as for any person with disability. That was one of the reasons I thought, oh, we should have her on this show. We should share this story with everyone. And she did mention that her daughter goes to the Perkins School of Blind. And that's a school that caters to 67 international countries worldwide.
Right.
And that means that, wow, what a service it's doing globally. Coming from South Asia, I know what a taboo it is to be disabled or to become disabled or to be born disabled. So it was a really touching subject for me.
It was a really touching subject for me as well, and I'm sure for our audience also, because as you said, like in the Southeast, when somebody has a problem, handicap problem, we push them aside, or oh no, we can't talk to them, or no, they can't do anything, and they become like that, unfortunately. But living here, you can do so much more, and we want to take that further ahead and make people realize, what, they are a part of our society, and they can do a lot of things that, which we don't give them credit for.
But that's the plus point of the West. It's not only that you have solution, you have the inspiration to find the solution. In the West, you try to hide from society. You try to make yourself invisible. In the East, I apologize, in the Southeast or in the Southeast Asia or in the Far East or Africa or Middle East or Eastern Europe, you think that it's better to hide from the world. But whereas in the West, you take the courage and you form a group and you move ahead, you find a solution. That is the greatness of the West that inspired me to bring it to the East, the Far East, Africa, Eastern Europe, and all of those islands that really need this inspiration. She's a great mother. She's also a nurse.
Right. It's truly been an inspirational story of hers, and I wish we can bring it forefront, and hopefully, and it's not as a disadvantage, but as an advantage. We should further people who have this disabilities, any kind of disabilities, whether it's blindness or any other disabilities, handicap disabilities, walking disabilities. We can do something for the people, and they can do, it makes them feel a lot better also.
Absolutely. It's an eye-opener. And like, you come with any adversities, there's always a way to find a solution. It's not the end of the world. And that is something, it's very inspirational to me. If you find that, wherever you sit, you can always find a way to make that place a better place. So there's always creativity, innovation that leads to ideas, inspiration. June Scott has been a great host,
great mother, great inspirational story actually for all of us to know, like, if you do have problems, there is solutions to it, and we should find the solutions for it. And I think it's a great story. Really.
Hello, I'm here to introduce June Scott, the president and the CEO of Visual Vitality. June is not only the CEO of the company, she's also a nurse and a mother. She has a beautiful daughter, Isabella, who I know is somebody I admire. Isabella also sings too well, that's what I heard from June. And June is going to share with us her story of how she formed the company and what were the adversities that made her form the company and her life raising Isabella. So June, would you please introduce your life, introduce your daughter, Isabella, and how you started the company?
Well, first I'd like to say thank you for having me today. It's a real treat to be able to speak about this important issue. I have known you for quite a while with our children in school together. And I first started this journey, if you will, for advocacy because I have my daughter who's 15 now, was really being able to be a top reader in her class and loved books, and all of a sudden began to not really be interested in books or reading, and being that age of around 8, 9, couldn't really verbalize what was going on. And so through a regular checkup with the eye doctor, we learned that she had lesions in both of her eyes affecting her central vision. She had a disease called Stargardt's disease, which is genetic, not curable, juvenile macular degeneration, which about 30,000 kids in this country have today. So, being a mom and being a nurse, it was kind of a struggle for me getting that diagnosis. And whereas I'm a nurse, I'm usually one of the first people with my patients' families that when they get a diagnosis, I'm the one that walks into the room after and handling that. So I was on the other end of that news. But it's been an incredible journey. We've had our ups and downs, mostly ups though. And she's been a true inspiration for me. She is very talented. She's a talented artist. She horseback rides. She is in theater. She plays the piano. She's just now started the guitar and her voice lessons. So she has let this, excel her and hasn't let it stop her. just a question about doing things in different ways.
Wow, that tells so much about Isabel. Now, how did she get diagnosed, and how did you take this adversity and use it to form your company?
She was diagnosed at Children's Hospital with the ophthalmologist there through pictures which showed lesions in her eyes and the various eye tests that they do. And I started this consulting company because, one, I'm a nurse, and I think it helps bring an awareness for not just visual disabilities or impairments, but other disabilities that you can't see. If you were to look at my daughter, you wouldn't necessarily notice anything except she might look off to the right or the left. But she is visually impaired, and you can't always see people's disabilities. So I really wanted to raise an awareness to people and educate them about disabilities you can see and you can't see, and how you can accommodate that in businesses, healthcare settings, etc. Educate the staff, managers, and employees, and embrace diversity. It's really diversity, and disabled people have such abilities and skills. So to help them get employed, I think that people's perceptions are sometimes they don't want to take the chance, and they're missing out on great employees. So it sort of really helped me to start this and educate people and do compliance training for companies that they're in compliance with the American Disabilities Act, and help get accessibility into my goal is, and the goal of my consulting firm is to get accessibility into every setting in Massachusetts and beyond, is a dream that I have. So.
And you're pursuing that dream. When Isabella was diagnosed with this disease, how did the school system or her friends take it up? How did they, were they accepting, or what is the scenario that you as a mother and she as your daughter had to go through?
I will say some of her friends may have shied away from her because of the way she would look at them, or just so much of the world is visual. And when someone with a visual impairment can't get those social cues or see things that other people can see, it's really difficult. And I think that in growing up and getting into your teenage years, it was difficult for her and her friends to really grasp some of that. But she, and at the public school, I will have to say, we had our challenges. And being a child with a visual impairment, they did have, special teachers of the visually impaired consult and come in. But it's kind of a different way of teaching, how you present the same material but in a different way. So now she's attending Perkins School for the Blind in Watertown, and it has truly opened up the world to her, and she has excelled and flourished, and really having the attitude like, yes, I can do it, I can do anything I put my mind to. And I really feel that about anybody. If you have people behind you that believe in you and believe in what the possibilities are, which is Perkins' statement, and believing in the possibilities in people, anything can happen.
And you also mentioned the Perkins School is international.
Yes, they have international outreach in many countries, helping serve the deaf-blind and the visually impaired all over, which is a great,
it's a great tool. It's a great communication. Mm-hmm. And when it is worldwide, that means it's outreaching and educating people around the globe.
It is.
So, and perhaps your institution is also trying to educate businesses, corporate as well as school system. Are you also educating the school system?
We would like to, higher education institutions and lower education institutions too. It's kind of, there's the trends seem to be like there's going to be a competitiveness on tapping this untapped market of disabled individuals that have so many abilities to help companies market, to help generate revenues for them, because there's people who won't frequent businesses or go to a certain bank or wherever because they're not accessible, or their staff aren't educated in how to communicate and welcome disabled people into their business. So we're hoping to increase that and help companies increase their revenue by being invitational to people come into their business.
With this exclusive service, obviously you're going to increase the revenue of all corporate and businesses, and because customer service, customer relations is such an important factor, and then retaining the customers is an important factor, and that's what is the company heading to do. You're doing a fabulous job, not only for the community but also for the businesses, so I'm really looking forward. Is there anything you wanted to share with the worldwide audience of your experience, or where you want your vision to go,
Well, again, my vision is to spread, East Coast to West Coast, and be international links with businesses and corporations, and doing trainings with them, and helping educators see from a parent perspective, but also being a nurse, I'm well versed in medical issues, the visual issues, the disabilities, that chronic pain and things that you can't see, and really how to incorporate that and accommodate that in businesses and healthcare settings. So that's my goal, is to spread forward and really work together. Visual Vitality Consulting stands apart from other businesses that do consulting because we are strictly nurse owned and operated. Diagnosed, we were at the doctor's office, the ophthalmologist, and my daughter had been sitting there saying that she couldn't read the letters, and the doctor had said to us, she thought it was a behavioral issue, and she just didn't want to read the letters because she was young. But my daughter was sitting there perfectly calm, saying that she couldn't read the letters. So we were sent to a specialist in town, and that's when we had the pictures, the lesions in her eyes showed up, and we had the diagnosis of Stargardt's disease, which is genetic disease, macular degeneration, juvenile, and for which there's no cure. But currently, what's trending now in the eye disorders is stem cell transplants, and they've actually started them with older adults that have had the Stargardt's, and they've had tremendous results, very good successes. So we are really optimistic and hopeful for the future that she will be able to get her sight restored someday very soon. So the medical advances in many diseases are just tremendous. Every day there's things in the news, and it really brings a lot of hope to not only the person that has the disease, but also their families and friends.
What a great, courageous mom you are. And not only have you supported your daughter, you also found a solution to help the world.
Yes. And we've also, I've also experienced as a mom, bringing my daughter into appointments, and people, as she's getting older now, will hand her the forms to start to fill out, even though I have to still sign them. But when you say that she can't see, there's no other option for her. They don't offer a large print. She doesn't need Braille yet, but a large print form to fill out for her. And as she gets older, the goal is for her to be more independent, and obviously she'll make her own decisions. And she and other people need to have access to those other ways to accommodate their needs, that they get the same communication as other people do without that disability, to make their informed decisions and be independent. So that's another thing. And there's other, we go into restaurants. There are some that are better dealing with disabled people than others. So it's really just educating and having the awareness spread. That would be great.
It's very important. It's fabulous. And did you also have to change your lifestyle?
The lifestyle has changed somewhat in that certain areas in the house have different lighting. I have to remember to keep, when she's walking downstairs and it's dark, to have a light on. She has tripped down the stairs because I forgot to turn a light on, so I always have to remember certain things for her. Or as a family, when we're in the car together and we're driving by and we see something in the distance on the side of the road, we always have to try to remember, well, we can't really say that because, or we could and describe it to her, but she can't see it. So that's difficult. But we're always doing new experiences. We go to the theater, the movies, we travel. So while she still has her vision, she gets to see all those things and experience it. And I've also currently done a joint venture with the Canton Public Schools. I sit on the board of Music Counts, which is for K through 12 in Canton. And I've actually collaborated with the Perkins Chorus and the Canton Public Schools Chorus to bring the visually impaired kids to Canton to have a joint session, so the kids can all work together and really hopefully get a positive experience, because through music, that's the common core. You can see it, you can hear it, and you can feel it. So I'm looking forward to that. That will be in January, of bringing groups of kids with different diversities together for the common goal of music.
Isn't that wonderful? Because this way they get educated of what you are trying to educate them. And I do wish that all schools, including Quincy, could start programs like this. That would be so educational for the state as well as for the community.
Yes, I think so too. I think that it would, I'm hoping that friendships will form, and, all the kids will be inspired from each other through their music as a common goal that they have, something in common together.
What a noble idea and a great company. Thank you, June. It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Once again, I'm Isha.
And I'm Soph.
See you next time.